Hi, Bipolar Barbie here. Now today I wanted to talk about this idea of mental illness being an invisible illness, because honestly I think that is completely wrong. Mental illness is only invisible to people who refuse to see it, people who don't look for it. Like, mental illness is not invisible. I think people are just willingly blind to it. I mean, I can spot a mentally ill person from space. Like, there are so many symptoms of mental illness, and sure, maybe some people just don't know what they are, and that's why education about mental illness is so important, so that people know what to look for. And I guess that's why I do what I do. I don't want people to remember that there's a stigma about mental illness. No, I want people to know what it's like to suffer a mental illness. I want people to know what mental illness looks like, because really it's so obvious, it's so out there, and everyone has some form of struggles. It's really just as simple as, you know, when you see a friend and they don't look okay and you ask them, are you okay? You know, they're like completely telltale signs. And I think the problem is when people are unwilling to accept mental illness for as common as it is, they tend to just associate it with, you know, a bad personality, with, you know, bad habits. And I think, you know, a lot of those things that are frowned upon, a lot of negative habits, a lot of drug and alcohol abuse, a lot of messy rooms, a lot of mood swings, a lot of anger, a lot of all sorts of things, antisocial behavior, can normally be attributed to some form of mental illness. So I was having a conversation at dinner one night, and my dad asked me what I'd been up to, and I said, well, you know, I'd been to like the psychologist and the psychiatrist and blah blah blah. He said, oh, what are you seeing them for? And I said, well, like, I'm not okay, despite the fact that I see them on a regular basis anyway. Like, it's part of my recovery, it's part of like what you do. And he said, I don't even know why you see them. Like, why would you see them? I was like, well, I'm not okay. And then my mother said, oh, you've seemed okay to me lately. And I went, really? Like, I was the worst that I had been in a really long time. So I took the time to educate her. I said, well, these are the signs that you should know about, that you should watch out for to know that I'm not okay. One is my room being a complete mess. Two is me not leaving my room for days and weeks at a time, eating like so much food, so much sugar. I mean, all of these things are observations that she had made about, oh, gee, your room's messy. Oh, you shouldn't eat so much sugar. So it's like she noticed these things happening. Oh, you shouldn't drink. Like, you know, all of these types of things, my negative behavior, my anxiety, my snappiness, like my general, you know, low mood, my melancholy tone of voice. And then she just turned to me and she said, yeah, but you're always like that. And I said to her, well, isn't that the saddest part? That I have been sick for so long that you associate the symptoms of my illness with who I am as a person. You associate them as my character traits rather than distinguishing them as symptoms of a really severe illness that I suffer. Sorry, there's like flies all over me. They just keep landing on me. So I think like people see that mental illness is there. They just don't associate it necessarily with mental illness, which is a real shame. And people say to me all the time, like, mental illness is all in your head. Like, how do you expect us to see an illness that is all in your head? Mental illness is not all in your head. It really isn't. It might start in your head, whether it's on like a malfunctioning brain, a chemical imbalance level, or, I mean, normally even when you've got some sort of inner thought process that's going on that's triggering your symptoms, it tends to have stemmed from some sort of like, you know, event that's happened in your life, or some sort of stress or situation that's going on externally that is perpetuating, that is affecting you on an internal level. So sure, mental illness might begin in your brain, but it radiates throughout your whole body. It's like, you know, a poison has been entered into your bloodstream and it just spreads. It spreads into every cell of your being. And that's not just me saying that. I mean, anxiety shuts your stomach down. Anxiety raises your heart rate. Depression, MRI scans have actually shown that it lowers your brain functioning capacity. Your brain actually stops working as well. It's not working at full capacity. Mania, on the other hand, is really intense. Like, your brain cells are burning out because they're firing on all cylinders. Every part of your brain is lit up. And I think symptoms like fatigue is real. Symptoms of insomnia, symptoms of, oversleeping, overeating, muscle fatigue, headaches. Like, there is such a range of external symptoms. So honestly, mental illness affects your whole body. This misconception that it's just the thoughts that you think and it can just be cured with like happy thoughts, no, it's so in depth, and there is so much more to it. And I think if you can spot someone who is suffering a mental illness, like, you might be able to help them out in some way. Or at least I think recognizing it and acknowledging it shows that, you care about someone. You might be able to save someone's life as a result of it. Now, I know me personally, symptoms of my depression can extend, or when I'm unwell, just in general, can extend to completely avoiding social situations, not answering my phone, not responding to text messages, not answering mail. There was many years where I didn't answer mail. I didn't pay bills. I didn't do my groceries. Like, I didn't really eat that much because I couldn't leave my house. I couldn't do things. I avoided appointments. I mismanaged my finances. I was going through like reckless behavior, There are so many symptoms. Like, all you really have to do is Google the symptoms. Oh my God, seriously, like, these flies can't handle them. So yeah, mental illness is not invisible. People just don't choose, like, they choose not to see it. They choose to ignore it, or they choose to misinterpret it. And I think that needs to stop. So if you like this video, subscribe, and that would be greatly appreciated. I would love that, because I'm uploading videos at the moment. I'm on fire. I'm uploading videos like every day, multiple times a day. So lots of like creative juices coming out of my mind, lots of inner thoughts that I want to share with you guys. So let me know in the comments like what you think of them, what types of videos you would like me to do, what topics you'd like me to cover, and make sure to check out some of the other videos. Thanks, guys.